line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. It's upstairs, goes to the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed. Is that one right through the gap in right center? Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, LaCueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there. As LaCueva will score. Antonio Lucero, second baseman, quite the hitter. Shot to third, and good catch. And she gets the out. Outstanding play by Trinity Bazan. Nice bright spot.
You know, baseball can still wow you. It can have its moments where you realize, hey, this is pretty cool. This stuff is pretty interesting. It's Shohei Ohtani hitting 2 home runs, striking out 10 batters. And how about last night? A guy is able to overcome giving up 15 earned runs his last 2 outings. He goes 2 innings, he goes 3 innings. And then he throws a perfect game. There's nothing like it. What else is like a perfect game? Even in football, if you have a perfect QBR, got some incompletions in there. There's some plays that might not have gone your way. In basketball, is it hitting every shot in a game? There's nothing quite like it. There's still something special about a perfect game in baseball. And Diego Germán had one last night for the New York Yankees. Now, you can throw your jokes out there all you want. Do it against the Major League Baseball team, not a AAA team. I get it. The Oakland A's, they got a lot going on. But the beauty of sports, and heck, even still baseball, is that you can have a guy come out of nowhere. A guy that was suspended 10 games last month because his fingers were a little too sticky when he was checked by the umpires coming out of the game. A guy that was unable to throw 4 innings in his last 2 starts. And he has a perfect game. What else in sport can you call perfect? But baseball, it still has its moments where it can grab you and you realize, hey, this stuff is pretty cool. What it do? Welcome into the opening drive here on 95.9 FM AM 610, The Sports Animal. Full house this morning. DC, I think he's actually got a microphone.
I think
today.
so.
There he goes. DC, what's up? The debut show of DC with our quarterback, Ned James. What is up, Ned? How you doing?
What's up? How you doing, fellas? DC, pleasure to meet you.
What's up, my man? Nice to meet you.
We got Ned James rolling in. Of course, you can catch all the action as well on ProView Networks as, of course, repping Colorado Avalanche back there. Is that the Rantanen?
Miko
Rantanen jersey this morning, of course, coming off the NHL draft last night. The one name you need to know is Connor Bedard. The number 1 overall pick, you heard him. He is going to be the next household name in the National Hockey League. He's the dude that's got the Connor McDavid scoring hype, the Sidney Crosby expectations of being in the league forever. So last night, brand new players joining the NHL, and a perfect game. And Ned, you're a baseball guy. Growing up in Los Angeles, you love the game. And there is still something special about a perfect game. It's the first perfect game we've seen in Major League Baseball since 2012. It was Felix Hernandez with the Seattle Mariners that did it in August of 2012. Also, Diego Germán becomes the first Dominican-born pitcher to throw a perfect game in baseball. There's still something, man. You hear perfect game and that resonates because there is nothing like it in sports.
Right, the excitement, the enthusiasm of a country waiting to see that last and final pitch and that last and final out. That was an absolute rocket shot down to third base, but they were able to snag it and get him out at first base. I thought it was awesome. The Yankee people, half of my family are Yankee fans because half of my on my dad's side all live in New York, so they're all Yankee fans. So they were all texting everybody to make sure we watched the end of that game, to make sure we saw history being made, and especially in a Yankee uniform. I thought it was something special because it was a Yankee uniform, and also, you know, being Domingo Germán, what he had gone through before, and having to come back from that and be able to throw the perfect game was nice to see, and I was glad for the young man.
Joins Don Larson, David Wells, and David Cohn as Yankee pitchers to achieve the milestone of a perfect game. Only the 24th perfect game in Major League Baseball history. And when you haven't even gotten to 25 of something, you realize that that is still special. It makes you think, like, what else is even close to that in sport? When we look at basketball or football, is that you can have a perfect QBR, but there's some incompletions in there. Is it hitting every shot in a basketball court? That is something that baseball has over other sports. Where
I agree.
You just don't have anything like it. Like, there's great performances, but we don't call anything else a perfect game.
Yes, and to see a pitcher, and they say hitting is the hardest thing to do in sport. To hit a major league pitch is one of the hardest things to do in sport. But to have a perfect game is just absolutely phenomenal at that level with the quality of hitters that you're going to face. And like I said, there was the last out, the rocket that was hit down to third base, I thought was, okay, this is, you know, like it always ends. The guy's going to finally get a hit. But to see that it got snagged and guy was thrown out at first, and to see that special moment for the Yankees was everything, you know, you want it to be when there's a perfect game. And I'm just excited and glad for the kid to have that opportunity to be able to come back after, like you said, the suspension and everything, and be able to achieve a perfect game.
Hey, look, it's been quite the roller coaster for Domingo Germán for the 10-game suspension he had last month because the umpires did not quite like how sticky his fingers were when he was coming off the mound to get checked, and that's an immediate 10-game suspension. The last two starts, he pitched 5 innings combined in his last 2 starts, giving up 15 earned runs. And then he goes out there last night against the Oakland Athletics and pitches a perfect game. It was an 11-0 victory for the Yankees, who they're in third place in the American League East, but they are in the wild card spot, half game up on the Toronto Blue Jays. And baseball is doing as much as it can to keep your attention, from Shohei Ohtani to dropping a perfect game on you. And what else is there in sport that you think is a perfect game that you see and it rises to that level? Because it is still something that baseball has that you don't get from a lot of other sports when you're looking around, like having that impact, that individual wow moment. There's triple doubles. There's what?
Scoring
I don't even
80
know in
points.
Football, if a receiver is there a magic number we talk about his 200-yard receiving game.
I mean, Christian McCaffrey with the passing, running, and catching.
That's up there.
Touchdown. Yeah, that's up there. If Joker went out and got a quadruple double, got assists, blocks, or steals, I guess.
Yeah, that would
rebounds
be something else.
and points.
Kind of that rare territory of sports stats that can actually wow us these days. With what we see, a perfect game is definitely up there.
Yeah, and I don't want to brag on myself, but I'm going to have to throw this out here for the pro guys. If a pro quarterback had a 400, 100 game like I did in college, where they threw for over 400 and rushed for over 100 in the same game, that's pretty much doing it in the pro game. That is a pretty good game. Now,
who did you do that against?
I did it against Wyoming, but I know it's Division I football, but to do it in the NFL, with the way the game has changed, the way the quarterback position has morphed into this run-past option, I think it could be done. With a quarterback who can pass it just as well as run it, to see a 400, 100 in NFL would be something special.
Who could do that? That feels like what Lamar Jackson wants to do this season. When he's saying he wants to throw for 6,000 yards just because Odell Beckham Jr. showed up in town. He's got a new offensive coordinator in Baltimore. I like that. Who could have a 400, 100-yard game in the NFL?
In the NFL, there are several guys because, we have this.
Josh Allen?
You and I have this challenge, JJ, going this year. You're going to pick the RPO guys. I'm going to pick the big stiffs, and we're going to see who can win more games. So when you pick your RPO guys, out of your 5 guys, which one of those 5, and there's probably all of them that could possibly do it, who you give the best chance? You brought up Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. Can Patrick Mahomes do it? There could be a number of guys that could achieve that 400, 100 milestone in an NFL game, which I think would be highly improbable, but would be close to a perfect game.
I like that. One of the things we're going to float out there this morning, what stats still wow you as a sports fan? When you hear perfect game, that still has an aura to it. I like what you brought to the table, Ned. A 400, 100 game in the NFL, that could definitely be achievable with some of these quarterbacks, and that would catch your attention. 505-246-0610. That is the 377 Brewery hotline, the Sports Animal text line as well this morning. You can email the show, jj@sportsanimalabq. And speaking of explosive athletes, we got a fun one coming up 9 a.m. this morning. We're scheduled to talk with 5-time NFL Pro Bowler, former NFL wide receiver Anthony Miller, because we got a bit of a football overload for you on a Thursday morning. How do you do it in June? Well, you come right here to the opening drive, and we got a ton of NFL stuff to dive into this morning. And speaking of those dynamic, those athletic quarterbacks, could this guy be the next Jalen Hurts? And one of his teammates who played in Philadelphia believes that he's looking at the next Jalen Hurts in the NFL. That is next here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Makes a little sports analysis.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier. like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future and get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about. We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about. We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Calming factor, and you do see similarities with Jake Fields. You know, he doesn't seem to get rattled out there in terms of when we're mixing up looks on him and stuff like that. And you know, just from what I've seen with my first year being him, I mean, him just throwing the ball. Dude's got such a strong arm, and he's been very accurate just about this entire OTA minicamp. So it's exciting to see, especially since he doesn't really add in the leg factor when we're just in helmets and things like that. So I'm really excited to play with a guy like that.
That was Chicago Bears linebacker T.J. Edwards comparing his new quarterback in Philadelphia, Justin Fields, to the guy he played with last year, the guy that led the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl in Jalen Hurts. And if we're talking about a 400 guy in the NFL, 400 yards passing, 100 yards rushing, Well, I might put my money on the guy that had 1,100 rushing yards last year. That was Justin Fields.
Yes.
He put up NFL running back numbers at the quarterback position. Now we know he's got to become a better passer. It's the development of the game. The Chicago Bears were a 3-win team last year, but they weren't necessarily building around Justin Fields just quite yet in their process. But for Justin Fields, 2,200 yards passing, 1,100 yards rushing. Are we looking at the next Jalen Hurts, that guy that might need a little tweaks around the edges to refine his passing game, but you give him some weapons and he's going to explode, and I believe that. Now, the Chicago Bears roster-wise, are they anywhere close to the Philadelphia Eagles? Not at all. But they brought in DJ Moore, someone that can be a number 1 wide receiver. They brought in Chase Claypool last year. That's going to have a full off season this year to be a number 2 wide receiver. And then you look at Cole Kmet. Justin Fields coming in. I love his upside. I love his ability, and he could be that 400, 100 guy in the NFL next year.
Yeah, if he's anything close to, I think what we saw that was special that got him to a first-round draft pick of the Chicago Bears out of Ohio State, if he's anything close to that, he could be probably one of the first people. And I don't know if that's ever been done. I don't think that's ever been done in the NFL. But he's got to get a Terrence Mathis in the slot in order for him to get 400 yards passing. But he's got the wills. He can do it running wise. But he's got to have that special receiver, have that special day in order for you to achieve that kind of a number in the passing game. There's going to have to be a guy who gets 200 yards receiving yards in that game. He's got to have a special guy that can do that. It's possible. I mean, Justin Fields is just one of the many guys I'm sure you could name, but I think he would probably be at the top of my list of those guys that I think you would bring up, even more so than Lamar Jackson. I think he could probably be a better passer. I'm not sure about Matt Eberflus. That's the head coach, Eberflus, because that to me the relationship between the coach, the head coach, and the quarterback is really critical in the NFL. And I'm waiting to see this Eberflus confidence in Justin Fields and the fact that they're connected like Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes to the tune of that kind of a performance. Because like you said, Patrick Mahomes could possibly do it. He doesn't have quite the same running skills, but he can run. And he could definitely pass. So the combination of the two will be interesting to see from these other guys that are on the periphery that are getting drafted. The first round draft pick this year, God, I'm drawing a blank on his name from the Colts.
Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson, yeah. He's got that tremendous upside with that extremely athletic frame and build and big body that you would think would be able to have that kind of a performance. And there's just several guys in the NFL in both divisions that have the capability of putting up those kind of numbers and also rushing for that many yards. So Justin Fields is a good one to start with, JJ. I'm sure you have your list in your mind who you think would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The RPO guys are going to run circles around on your pocket passers this year. This little back and forth we have. That is our quarterback, Ned James, with us on the opening drive. JJ Buck, DC, 505-246-0610 is the 377 Brewery hotline. Now, for the Bears, though, too, the next step is being competitive. In the NFL, it's almost easier right now to say who you think's not going to be a playoff team because the league is looking pretty good. There's fascinating storylines. And right there in the NFC North, I keep going back to that division because there's a ton of hype around the Detroit Lions. And I know you are smiling ear to ear, Ned James, because for the last year and a half, you have been screaming. You've been the pastor at the church of Jared Goff. Like, this guy is good. Give him his credit. And for the Detroit Lions, when they traded Matthew Stafford, it was the sign of they are rebuilding. Right? All right, we got a plug-and-play quarterback, Jared Goff, but he's not the future. And here we are with this hype train for the Detroit Lions rolling into next season. Jared Goff, all the points scored last year, 5th most points scored in the NFL. And you're looking at the Minnesota Vikings, and people are saying, hey, you can't fool us again. Win double-digit games and lose in the playoffs. The Packers, the Bears, the NFC North, you could make a case. Yeah, yes, I will ride that hype train right now. The Detroit Lions being better than the Minnesota Vikings, being the favorites in the NFC North. But there's a chance for everyone in that division to win that division.
Right, with no Aaron Rodgers being there, and Minnesota being a little suspect without the running back Cook, and Kirk Cousins being what most consider to be an average stiff pocket passer, as I always allude to. It is going to be an intriguing division and conference this year. I like Detroit, I did talk about Jared Goff and how I felt about Jared Goff 2 years ago when everybody was really basically calling him washed up just because he was going to Detroit. But at the same time, you have to realize that coaching really does matter. His relationship with Dan Campbell, and Dan Campbell being a quality coach who a lot of people felt he really wasn't at the time because of some of his statements, that is what's going to propel that team. But I'm still a little suspect about their defense, and so that's why I'm a little hesitant about them really rising to the top. I'll have to see if Aaron Glenn can do something. He's got to do a lot better with the defense. But like you said, the NFC North is going to be an intriguing division this year, and I'm looking forward to it.
505-246-0610 and 377 Brewery Hotline, the Sports Animal text line this morning. The NFC North, is quarterback play going to be the difference? It feels like Jared Goff, he's in the driver's seat right now. If you had to rank him, I think Justin Fields, of course, most explosive, has the highest ceiling in that division. But going into next year, it would be Goff, Cousins, Fields, and then the uncertainty of Jordan Love.
Yeah, and that's the real question for me. Like, he's had some time to develop under Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to come out and actually play up to the expectation that's being set? Because there's some people out there saying that he might actually shake up the North quite a bit.
Yeah, I think Green Bay is in the same situation as Seattle was last year.
That's a great comparison.
Where you're kind of doubting them as a whole. You feel like, all right, you got this stopgap quarterback. How good is the roster? Well, if you look at the back end of the NFC, that's that whole tier of Seattle, New York, the Saints, but we think they're going to be division winners. Like these 8-9 win teams that could be flirting with 10 wins. And I think Green Bay could be right there, because you look at that roster, and I know Aaron Rodgers complained about it for a few years, but there's a lot of first-round draft picks on that defense. Their young receivers will now be in year 2 with Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs on the outside. You still have a good number 1 running back in Aaron Jones. Like I'm thinking, Green Bay could have that Seattle-like type season, even with the uncertainty of Jordan Love, where you realize, oh, this team is actually pretty solid, and those years of development worked out for Jordan Love.
Yeah, and if you do that, if you say that, and you are going to go with Green Bay in that narrative, you really have to speak to the defense. You really have to say, because Seattle didn't put the game all on the quarterback's shoulder. They didn't put it on. I'm drawing a blank on the quarterback's name. Geno Smith. Yeah, they didn't put it all on Geno. They let Geno manage the game, but they were a defense-first team. The quarterback's position he wasn't put in a position to have to win the games. I don't know if Jared Love or Josh Love is ready for that.
Love. Come on, man, the Utah State alum.
I know. God, these young players, they keep rolling in. Us old guys, we have so many names in our head. It's tough for us to remember them all. But Jordan Love, can he take the reins of this team and be a playoff quarterback like they've had in Aaron Rodgers over the past years before he got a little old and he's moved on? Can he be that young up and coming superstar like some of these young guys that are playing quarterback that are his age are in that league? I don't know, but I think you have to start on the defense in Green Bay. Can that defense be a formidable unit this coming season in that division?
Well, that quarterback that moved on from Green Bay, he likes the hype. He's talking all the time. He went to a major media market. He's courtside in the NBA postseason, but now all of a sudden, some extra cameras around could cause stress on this dude. I don't know about that. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
When you replace your roof, you want experience and attention to detail. That's Rocky Mountain.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us.
Sports Animal.
Even when you are a star athlete, sometimes you don't want the cameras around all the time. Teams don't want to do it, but you got to do it. It's important for the game because the fans love it. It is Hard Knocks. NFL struggling to find teams to do it, but guess what? It made Dan Campbell a superstar after people watched Hard Knocks and saw his behind-the-scenes personality, what the Detroit Lions were doing. And everyone is assuming that this year they are going to New York, and the Jets reluctantly are going to be on Hard Knocks, but deal with it because the people love it, and it is good for your brand. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. JJ Buck, DC, former Lobo quarterback Ned James, hanging out with us once again. And Ned, I got a bone to pick with you, though, this morning, and we're going to get there. So we got some issues that we got to overcome. But Hard Knocks.
Yes.
It's great. It is. It's from a fan's perspective, getting the behind-the-scenes look at training camp, the inside information. But sometimes teams aren't too happy, even though they do get the final say of what is put out there. You know, some stuff still gets out. Like in 2018, there was footage of then head coach Hugh Jackson and offensive coordinator Todd Haley going at it regarding veteran players needing rest during practice, and Jackson thought it made him look good. It did not. There was a clip back in 2010, Antonio Cromartie. Yeah, I know all the jokes with Antonio Cromartie and his kids, and he was struggling to recite all of his kids' names. So there's like little things you can point out. Like not everyone is going to look good.
Right.
But I think if you're Aaron Rodgers, and if the reports are, he might be stressed with Hard Knocks coming to New York. You went to a major media market. You are a superstar, and if the coaches can't handle it, well, here's Dominic Foxworth on ESPN letting you know if you can't handle Hard Knocks, you can't handle the NFL.
What is training camp for if not to prepare for the regular season? So why not already expose yourself in a low-stakes situation, expose Aaron Rodgers to all of this attention? You're going to get it. It's just going to be 5 or 10 extra cameras. It's not that challenging. The idea that somehow Hard Knocks is a distraction. You're a garbage coach. If some cameras showing up is going to distract your team from getting any better. And if it is a distraction, fine. Let's prepare for how we are going to deal with distractions in the regular season. Let's practice that now when we are just playing preseason games. I've never known anyone great to say, let me see if I can find the easiest way to do this.
Foxworth on First Take ESPN. Ned, how do you feel about Hard Knocks, potential distraction when you're just trying to get ready for the NFL season?
Foxworth auditioning for Stephen A. Smith's job to start screaming at people in the morning on First Take. Or Shannon Sharp. One of those. He's auditioning because to imply that these coaches are garbage or to say that it's not a distraction is absurd. Of course it's a distraction. What else would you be doing if those cameras weren't there? Well, number one, you wouldn't be having meetings with the media because there's going to be editing. You cannot show everything that they're doing in practice or saying or what everybody else is play calling or what have you, because these people are media people. They want that kind of information out there. But coaches and players know that it's an advantage for their opponents if they get this information. So, of course, it's a distraction. Of course, it takes away from your planning because you have to deal with these media outside of your normal duties as a coach because they have to edit it. You cannot just roll tape and then roll it out there to the mass market and let everybody and be exposed to all your flaws and all your secrets just because there needs to be some entertainment, and the NFL is getting this valuable media entity out there for people to enjoy. No, there's people's jobs are on the line, people's livelihoods are on the line because of how they play the game and how they strategize and how they keep information and the deception of their schemes in order for them to win games. Now, if you want to impress me, NFL, here's where you can impress people. Put the New England Cheaters on. Put the New England Patriots on Hard Knocks. They've never been on Hard Knocks, so you know why? Because they're never going to do it. Because Belichick is not going to show you where the bodies are buried. He's not gonna show you where the bodies are buried because he knows it's an advantage. Every little advantage you have to take advantage of, and don't believe me. Everybody's putting them. They've got a file on these Hard Knocks teams, and they're using that information.
You're going through and you're seeing, hey, is there a whiteboard that might accidentally get in one of the shots where you can pick up a couple plays? So this is the difference. From my standpoint to you, you've been in NFL training camps. You've been through that process. You were actually around the Cleveland Browns a lot during that time that they were referencing when they were on Hard Knocks. So you understand there may be sometimes people are putting it on before the camera, but this is a way for the league to stay a juggernaut. People want this inside information. People want that real side of it, and sometimes it might get a little messy. And that is where, as you said, the extra time, because someone has to watch it. Someone with some pull, someone with some power has to watch that footage and put in the time to say, all right, this can't go out, this can go out. So I can understand it can be a little bit more.
It has to be
also what you sign up for, being the juggernaut in America.
Yeah, but it has to be someone who is responsible enough to know how it affects the game and how it affects your team moving forward. And that's why nobody wants to do it, because they know, here I am. I've got issues with players. I've got issues with schemes and coaches. I've got Todd Haley and Hugh Jackson fighting. I've got players saying they want to be traded. Why do I need to have this extra time spent on editing media for entertainment purposes? Because it promotes the league. No one else has to do it. I'm the only one that has to do it.
Who was the Browns offensive line coach that became like a sensation because his nice belly?
Yeah, the offensive line coach, I can't think of his name right now, but I told Peter King from NBC Sports, absolutely loved the guy. And I said, Peter King, he is middle America because he had the big old belly and he was, showing examples of, but I said, you can't be middle America and drive up on Hard Knocks in a $250,000 Lamborghini he was driving. So I'm like, he's not middle America.
Yeah, you look at Hard Knocks so far. Baltimore was the first one when they were going for a Super Bowl, back-to-back Super Bowl championships.
JJ, I was in that one too. I was in camp with the Ravens, with Saragusa and Shannon Sharp and all them. Yeah, I was in that one too. I was with the Ravens then.
Maybe Hard
Knocks. I've been in a couple Hard Knocks. Yeah. So yeah.
Go to that camp.
You see what happened to them after that Super Bowl year. They were all playing to the camera. Shannon Sharp got a job out of it. Saragusa got a job out of it.
So we've seen the Ravens, we've seen the Cowboys. There was a hiatus from 03 to 06. And you had Kansas City, Dallas, Cincinnati, the Jets. No teams volunteered during the labor situation in 2011. We've had the Dolphins, Bengals again, Falcons, Houston Texans, Rams, Buccaneers, Browns in 18, Raiders in 19, and you had a lot of Antonio Brown drama in that Hard Knocks issue. At Rams, Chargers in 2020. So yeah, there's still a lot of teams that haven't been on Hard Knocks that are, I'm sure, doing their darndest trying to stay under the radar and not catch the attention of HBO.
Yes, make the New England Patriots be on Hard Knocks. You want to impress people? Let's see if the NFL is being fair with their treatment of these coaches. Make the Patriots be on it. Make that a part of their punishment. Okay, you've been charged for cheating numerous times.
So
we're going to make you go on Hard Knocks. That's going to be the penalty. You're going to have to do Hard Knocks.
Just get 30 minutes of Bill Belichick's dog sitting in a chair.
Right, because you want to talk about editing now. Let Belichick edit that Hard Knocks.
Who do you want to see on Hard Knocks? Ned's got New England Patriots. There's a lot of teams out there, and I'm all for the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. All right, Aaron, you wanted out. You wanted to go to the big city. Here you go, and you get some Hard Knocks on top of that. 505-246-0610. That is the 377 Brewery Hotline. The Sports Animal text line this morning. How do you think Anthony Miller would have enjoyed Hard Knocks? Scheduled to talk with the 5-time NFL Pro Bowler this morning, coming up at 9 a.m. He was a first-round draft pick of the San Diego Chargers in 1988. He played with the Chargers, the Broncos, and Cowboys. Those are some teams that resonate in this market. And one of the things we're going to ask him is, what does he think of those franchises, and which of his jerseys will he be wearing the longest this season? And I'm talking about which will be the last team to lose between those franchises. But coming up next, speaking of the New England Patriots, will Tom Brady always have one more over his former boss? It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Fans, our brilliant coaching staff, our amazing players who are so spectacular. This is unequivocally the sweetest.
Well, that was the last time Robert Kraft was holding up a Super Bowl trophy, and since then he's seen his former quarterback Tom Brady win one more in Tampa Bay. And will the Patriots ever catch, will Bill Belichick ever catch Tom Brady? Because there's one thing on everyone's mind. They're not alone. They won a championship. But do they have enough to ever get back to the top? It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. JJ Buck, DC, our quarterback, Ned James, with you this morning. And Patriots owner Robert Kraft said the only thing that is going to make him satisfied is, quote, number 7. And that is getting another Super Bowl trophy. And when you look at the AFC right now, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and the emergence of Trevor Lawrence now that is a real NFL coach in Jacksonville, Justin Herbert. The talent at the quarterback position, it's phenomenal. And there's some really good rosters to back it up. And then you land on Mac Jones and New England Patriots that have had a love-hate relationship with Mac Jones over the last couple of years. I'll give Mac Jones a benefit of the doubt this season because they brought in an offensive coordinator. Even the great Bill Belichick overthought it last year. You cannot have a bunch of defensive guys, a bunch of special teams guys running your offense and think that's going to be a positive for your quarterback. But Ned, we know that the New England Patriots are one of your favorite topics, one of your favorite teams to talk about. Bill Belichick, he's that dude. He can coach in football. When it comes to defense, defensive players, he knows what's up. But are they ever going to have enough to get over the top in the AFC? Or are they going to be a team that's in wait and see for a while to get back in championship game?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, Belichick is no different than any other head coach in the NFL. He's better than most coaches in the NFL. But he wants what everybody wants. Everybody wants the championship. Robert Kraft is an owner just like every other owner in the NFL that says that they want a championship. And as far as Tom Brady goes, they understand what Tom Brady went and did after he left New England. But yet and still, the owner has to decide. Okay, if Belichick does it, I believe they will get to the playoffs. I don't know how deep they'll go. I don't know how deep quarterback, but I think he's got one of the greatest coaches of all time. Can he pull the trigger? Can he pull the trigger and say, it's time to move over from Bill. We need to be more progressive, like these new young and innovative offensive coordinator type coaches are, or a young defensive coordinator, to bring in someone youthful to rejuvenate his organization. Will he do that, and can he do that? That's something that I don't believe Robert Kraft can and will do. I think they have what it takes. They're already with Bill as the head coach. And I don't think that Kraft will be capable of pulling the trigger on Belichick based on having the special teams coach and the defensive coordinator be the offensive coordinator, because he almost won. He almost got in the playoffs.
They won
a
game.
Yeah.
A disastrous situation when it comes to offensive coaching last year. And that's an interesting take. Progressive or just offensive minded. There's one thing that we're seeing in the NFL. It's the trend is much like basketball. We've seen it's pace and space.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen that trend in the NFL. Everything is going out wide. And that is the one area when you look at the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick does not understand the wide receiver position. I get it. They drafted Julian Edelman. That saved them. I understand that. But the best wide receiver drafted by the New England Patriots outside of Julian Edelman has one career reception. And it's Matthew Slater, who became a special teams ace. The New England Patriots have no idea what to do about offensive talent. They can find some running backs. And Tom Brady made some great careers out of these guys. James White going on down the line. They had that wild year with Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez in the draft. Outside of that, the Patriots have no idea what to do with the wide receiver position. And that is what is hurting them. That is what is holding them back. Is their biggest deal is, we're going to go sign a 9-year veteran, Devontae Parker, to a deal that could be worth up to $33 million. But I don't know if this dude has had 33 receptions in one NFL season.
But Devontae Parker's a good player. He's a good receiver. Now, if you go back, I believe he is. But I mean, if you go back and you start, talking about previous New England Patriots teams, and you want to give Tom Brady the credit, do you give him the credit or do you give Bill Belichick the credit for winning despite having those things? Is it the coach? What came first, the chicken or the egg? Is it the coach or is it Brady?
Tom Brady covered up a lot of warts on that.
Most people would probably think that a 7th-round draft pick quarterback rose to the level that he rose to despite the coaching, despite the system, despite the principles that Bill Belichick instilled throughout the team, throughout the organization, in order for them to achieve those championships. It takes more than the quarterback. And like I've always said, JJ, the quarterback is the worst athlete on the field next to the kicker and the punter, and he gets paid the most money. The RPO thing is different. That's a different argument. We're going to debate that at some point. But with Brady's talents, athletically, for them to be able to achieve what they did, you needed someone special like Belichick to be that coach. And I believe that's the reason why they were able to achieve what they did.
And developing defensive players. And if you're looking at the way the NFL is going and how to compete in the NFC, we understand defense. What does it do? Is it win championships?
It wins games.
Games.
It doesn't win championships.
Defense wins games. Special teams wins
championships. Absolutely.
That's the net, James.
And that's but people think that Bill Belichick is the head coach of the defense. He's not the head coach of the defense. He's the head coach of the offense, the head coach of the defense, and the head coach of the special. He runs it all.
He runs it all, but the trend of the NFL, the future of the NFL. So if you take out the quarterback position, where do championships begin? In the list of the top players in the NFL, it is going to open your eyes to where teams are realizing you have to attack the new era of the NFL. It's JJ Buck DC, our quarterback Ned James. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Network.
Registration is now open.
Mitch, there's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. It's upstairs, goes to the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, La Cueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there. As La Cueva will score. Antonio Lucero, second baseman, quite the hitter. Shot to third, and good catch. And she gets the out. Outstanding play by Trinity Bazan. Nice bright spot.
Costly errors allowed Cleveland to get 1 run back. That one sitting on the ground to the left side. Throw to first in time. Throw home. Got her. Whoa, what a play.
Next door or something. Not sure, but they came out here, and Ellison cracks an RBI out to left field. That's where you got to do it. 1 run, 2 run, and this game could very well be over. It's a play at the plate. It's sliding, and that will do it. The Rams walk off the La Cueva Bears. It's a 3-run batted in shot by Dean Ellison.
Show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bond.
The future of the NFL. We know it's about the quarterback position. You got to find the competitive quarterback. It's so much more than that it is. We love the quarterbacks. We love the hype. There's 2 positions in the NFL. It's head coach and quarterback that have a win-loss record attached to their name. But if you look at the young talent in the league, it'll open your eyes the direction the league is going and what teams are focusing on when it comes to building these rosters. What it do, everyone? Good day. Thank you for joining us here on the Sports Animal. JJ Buck, DC, rocking the Miko Rantanen jersey this morning, coming off the NHL draft last night. The one name you need to know, and you've heard it by now, the number 1 overall pick, Connor Bedard, going to Chicago. He's the next big thing on the scene, an MVP caliber player in the National Hockey League. We got our quarterback, Ned James, joining us. Of course, Adrian holding it down on Pro View Networks. I did have someone hit us up on the text line. He's like, hold up. Bill Belichick has 8 Super Bowl rings, so doesn't he already have 1 over Tom Brady? Yes. The conversation started with Robert Kraft, and what will satisfy him will be number 7. So Bill does have that. And then it's going to take the Raiders winning a championship right now for Tom Brady to add another ring to his stable now that he's in the ownership position, and that one also might take a while in Las Vegas. But we look at the future of the NFL. Pro Football Focus put out a list. They ranked the top 25 players in the league under 25 years old. And it is an eye-opener. It's a realization of kind of where the league is going. And we all understand there's more to winning football games. You still have to run the football. You need a defense to compete at a high level. But when it comes to team building, it kind of opens your eyes to where really the young talent in the league is. And on this list, Ned, of the top 25 players under 25 years old, 10 were wide receivers. There were 6 offensive linemen, with 5 of them being the tackles, the right or left tackles. 5 cornerbacks, which makes sense, right? If the league is trending towards a passing game, the league is trending towards more wide open. Well, you have these young wide receivers, you're going to need some cornerbacks to cover these players. 1 edge rusher, 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 1 quarterback. Pro Football Focus, just looking at the top 25 players under 25 years old. But when you hear that number, just kind of breaking it down before we get into the specifics, does that surprise you, or does that kind of mesh with what we've seen, the trajectory of the NFL?
Well, given the way the rules are, and the way the media or sports media perception of the wide receiver position, I think it makes a lot of sense, only because you've got world-class sprinters running at full speed, and you can't really hit them. Going back to the days, we always go back and look at history. Would that have been the case 10, 15, 20 years ago, with the rules being in place that are not in place anymore, as far as how you can put your hands on receivers, how you can hit receivers when they catch the ball coming across the middle, and in other places, how you tackle them. Those rules have changed tremendously. And so that's why you're going to see these numbers, and you're going to see big numbers in the passing game with receivers. But if you go through history and you go through these last couple Super Bowls, and that's why the trend of the RPO and the running backs have dropped as far as being important with these clubs, because now you just use your quarterback as your runner, and you have that ability to use the quarterback as that extra guy in the run game, and you can get more receivers down the field and get them out and get them open, and that's why you're seeing this trend of guys getting more publicity, and I think it's publicity as far as their value in regards to these young guys being acknowledged as the top 25 best players in the NFL.
So when you think about building an NFL roster right now, it starts with the quarterback. Find your quarterback, protect your quarterback, get the weapons for your quarterback, and get to the quarterback. That's what kind of this list highlights in the NFL right now of the young players. And this is a really tight, specific snapshot, but it was kind of eye-opening when you look at 10 of the top 25 in their estimation at the wide receiver position. Then it's 6 that are protecting the quarterback, 5 that are trying to cover those wide receivers. The one quarterback that they have on the list is Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. The one running back on the list is Jonathan Taylor. And this also kind of highlights the conversation that we're having when these guys are trying to get paid, is the NFL values running backs, but they value you on your rookie contract, where those 4 or 5 years where they can get all the carries out of you that they can. And then on the back end, they'll pick and choose these veteran guys. Heck, Dalvin Cook is on the market. You can sign Dalvin Cook for a year and not have to give him $70 million. But it's a fascinating snapshot, because when you start to look at who's going to compete, how do you compete, it's inside out. And it's finding those tackles, because 5 of the 6 offensive linemen that are on the list our offensive tackle, so it's protecting that quarterback's blind side. It's getting the quarterbacks the weapons, because you look at the top wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. And we have seen these guys absolutely explode onto the scene. What I'm interested in, too, is what we've seen out of these cornerbacks, because Ned, you were talking, the game is so different these days. They want the offense. They want, we hear the term hand checking in basketball. You kind of even put that to football. You can't hit them after 5 yards. Are you going to be able to find guys that are up there winning battles one-on-one? So they have Sauce Gardner, of course, the young cornerback for the New York Jets. Patrick Surtain, cornerback for the Denver Broncos, are two guys in the top 10. And if you can cover these days with the way the NFL is going, you're also going to be able to make yourself a lot of money.
Yeah. But it's always been like that. It's, the corners have always been an important part once the passing game became as popularized as it is, and it's been as useful as it's been, and it's been sophisticated, and the Don Coryells and the Bill Walshes coming into the business. Cornerbacks have been important because the game used to be won in the trenches. It used to be, when you built your team, you built it from the front back. Now a lot of people are saying that, hey, you have to build that team now from the back end up to the front, where defensive linemen used to be a value. Now they're saying they're not as valuable as a cornerback or a safety, someone who could keep the ball out of the end zone and keep the big plays from happening against you, and the quarterback position on offense and the receiver position. When the game was developing, those positions weren't as a priority as having big, strong, physical players who could win the game in the trenches. And the game is still somewhat won in the trenches, but at the same time, these other positions have become a lot more valuable in so much as the big play has been, being promoted and being refereed in a way that it makes the game more exciting, and it makes the game more viewable and likable by the audience that's watching it.
Well, speaking of world-class speed, Anthony Miller was a track star before he stepped on the football field, and Anthony Miller is going to join us coming up at 9 a.m. this morning, former first-round pick of the Chargers. So was it Pasadena City College? Is that where you bumped heads with Anthony Miller, Ned J?
Oh, yes, that's where we played. I had to actually talk him. It's amazing because it's a great story, because when we talk about it, we laugh about it, because he wanted to be a manager at a grocery store, and that was he had gone to San Diego State on a track scholarship and didn't like the track coach, didn't like the track coach's philosophy and training, and so he left school, and he was working at a supermarket. And the offensive coordinator at my junior college, he says, you got to talk this Anthony Miller guy into playing football, because he understood the name of the game was speed. That's a different Anthony Miller. That's a young Anthony Miller. You got to go back. You got to dig in the archives.
The old Anthony Miller.
Yeah, the old Anthony. You got to go into. You got to go into the crates, man. You got to dig deep. Yeah. So when Anthony was, so I had to. Me and a good friend of mine, Troy Cluess, we both played at UNM. Troy was a defensive back, and he and Anthony had grown up together in Pasadena. And so I was the quarterback, and Troy was the defensive back, and we kind of ganged up and kind of convinced them to come out for football. Now, here's a guy who was a world-class sprinter. He was the third-string receiver of mine. Now, he gets upset when I say this all the time, because he really wasn't our starting receiver. He was a year younger than me, so he was a backup receiver, and we had two other guys. I always say those guys were better than him, and we had a bowl. We went and played in a bowl game, and that's when we had 3 touchdowns together in that bowl game. And then, of course, he had the breakout season the next year, and was wanting to go to UCLA, but was talked into going to Tennessee because our offensive coordinators was a good friend with Walt Harris.
He goes on a Tennessee first-round NFL draft pick, and he gets stuck here in New Mexico with us?
No, Anthony Miller. Anthony Miller went to Tennessee.
He took the wrong turn in Albuquerque.
Yeah, but we played against him when he was out. He was on that team with Reggie White and all those guys down there. He played that next year at Tennessee, and we went down to the University of Tennessee and played them, and played a really good game.
35-21.
Yeah, Yeah, and it was in Neyland Stadium with 101,000. It was opening, it was the opening game of the season. So Billy Rucker played well. I had to play wide receiver that game. That's why he laughs at me to this day. Like, what were you doing out there at wide receiver in that game? But yeah, that's how we became friends, and that's how we were able to. Kind of we kept our relationship going because as he was a player in the NFL, I was coaching in the NFL. So it was kind of good to see him playing and him, become the great player that he was. And I was coaching at the same time. So that's how, and we've always stayed in touch, and we've got some crazy stories.
We're able to connect with him today because he's a track star wide receiver that he put up 5 1,000-yard seasons in an era where we weren't talking about the passing game like we do today. So I want to ask Anthony Miller if he envisioned himself in this NFL, like what would his yardage total be? Because we're talking about a dude.
Especially me knowing Anthony, and how wide receivers are, and especially how much money they're paying him today. He's gonna say, "Oh, I would have 3,000 yards receiving because you can't touch the receivers." Those guys used to crack us upside the head when I played. Of course, he's gonna say he would have been much better in this era.
That's coming up at 9 a.m. this morning. Who can dethrone a division champ that has won the last 7 division titles? They got the new GOAT at quarterback. And can an offensive coordinator be the difference? Potentially take down this team in the NFL. That is next here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Al.
Second and 10 as that Tennessee defense drops back. As Long to try to make a diving tip, dead Mahomes who tiptoes inside the 10. Still not down. Oh, what a run! Out of this world! Touchdown, Kansas City.
A little throwback touchdown run for Patrick Mahomes. Speaking of 400 yards passing, 100 yards rushing, could we see a quarterback do that in the NFL? Because what could match a perfect game like we saw Domingo Germán throw last night for the New York Yankees in other sports? I mean, we don't have a perfect game in football. You can have a perfect QBR, but you've thrown some incompletions in that game. You probably had a drive that ended in a punt. It happens. But our quarterback, Ned James, saying, you know what would impress him, what would wow him? A 400-yard passing, 100-yard rushing game. And, Patrick Mahomes, he's got enough wheels, but 100 yards, that's a huge target for him. But it doesn't matter because you know what? Kansas City is in the driver's seat. Who can dethrone the Chiefs in the AFC West? It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, DC. And our quarterback, Ned James, with you this morning. Kansas City has won the last 7 division titles. Now, before that, Broncos had their little run with Peyton Manning. They won 5 straight AFC West titles. But looking at it right now, Justin Herbert, the Chargers, is their best move going to be bringing in Kellen Moore? Is that the difference? Is that something that could give them the edge? With the Chargers, it's been about health, and they're trying to keep a complete roster around Justin Herbert. But if you're looking at who can dethrone Kansas City, got to look right at the Chargers. And is it a post-hype boom for Justin Herbert? I think some people have just cooled down on the Justin Herbert hype. We're looking at, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, because, Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars beat the Chargers in dramatic fashion last year, overcoming that huge deficit and sending them home in the playoffs. But I'm looking at Kellen Moore. And, Kellen Moore gets let go in Dallas. And it is a quick few phone calls when Brandon Staley brings him in to be his offensive coordinator. And this is going to be some interesting stuff in the AFC West when you look at the offensive coordinator position. Because the Chargers fire Joe Lombardi, who then gets picked up by Sean Payton in Denver to work with Russell Wilson, and they feel that Kellen Moore is going to have a bigger impact on Justin Herbert. So how do you slow down those Kansas City Chiefs? How do you end that streak of 7 straight division titles if you are one of those other teams in the AFC West?
Well, the salary cap is set up for teams not to repeat and win that many championships in a row. The fact that, the other teams have not been able to, Denver, Oakland, and the Chargers, to leapfrog Kansas City is just a testament of the culture and the coaching and everything else that's going on in Kansas City that no one's been able to match. Now, the issue with Kellen Moore coming to the Chargers and resurrecting or making Justin Herbert and making the Chargers, for that matter, this contending team is absurd, because they were great on offense last year without Kellen Moore. It's not going to change anything by him being there. And it's like I've always said, the relationship between the head coach, whether the head coach is a defensive guy, a special teams guy, or an offensive guy, is critical. And is Staley really the person to be in charge of that team? Because they're not bad on defense. But if you're winning 27-0 in a playoff game and you lose that game 30-27, there's an issue at the top. It's not an issue with the offensive coordinator. You fire the offensive coordinator at the end of the season who gets you a 27-0 lead in a game that you lose, and you're expecting the new guy to be the answer. I just don't see that. I don't know if Staley's going to be able to survive, even though he's got the great quarterback. And most people believe that the quarterback is the principal component to winning a championship. I don't necessarily believe that. I believe it's the coaching, it's defense, it's specialty, it's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts. And I just don't think with Kellen Moore coming there, the expectations are going to be greater now that they've gone to the playoffs with Kellen Moore. And so we're going to see if Kellen Moore does make a difference. But the only way he can prove to everybody that he is the difference maker is if they win a playoff game. And that's a high bar to reach, particularly in that division.
I get the Chargers last year 10-7. They had the first wild card spot in the AFC in a dramatic playoff game where they go down to Jacksonville. Of course, Jacksonville division champs in the AFC South. And the second half, where the Chargers bleep it all up, Jaguars have the huge comeback. And you're right about the offense. You know, it's about health in the defense for the Chargers, because you're looking at Kansas City, and everyone's trying to figure out how to dethrone them in the AFC West. Well, it goes back to defense. And there was a couple weeks ago, Patrick Mahomes was doing an interview with Complex, and they were asking him, who gives you the most fits? And who are some of the players that really bother you on the defensive end? And he pretty much just listed the 2021 Rams when he was breaking this down. Yeah. But he said it was Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and Von Miller were the guys that gave him the most trouble, were the guys that were able to impact the game the most against him. Of course, you know, Aaron Donald, one of the best defensive tackles we've seen in the last 2 decades in the NFL. Or Von Miller, Super Bowl MVP, that run he goes on. But I thought the Jalen Ramsey one was definitely interesting, because if you're looking down that list, well, Von Miller, he's in Buffalo. He can definitely have an impact this year. Jalen Ramsey joined the Miami Dolphins. So they're not in the division, but there's a couple players on contending teams that are going to have to go after him, and that's key. Now, DC, you spent a ton of time up there in Denver, and I'm sure you guys debated that question a ton, is how do you get past that team in Kansas City?
And it's an ongoing debate because that team is unreal. Vaughn was a big key to that, and now that Vaughn's gone, Bradley Chubb's gone, the question is, like, how do you build your line to combat a guy who can throw, who can run, who sees the whole field with incredible vision? I mean, it's a very, very, very difficult hill to climb for them, and I don't have a good answer. The guy's incredible, and so when you're talking about potentially the greatest players, which is crazy to say that, but how do you stop that? That is a challenge that they're going to be dealing with for years, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then you brought it up. The NFL is supposed to be built in a way that you get parity, and you do, but Kansas City, they got guys that are bought in. And there's a phrase that global basketball fans might be familiar with. Don't mess with happy. And that is what Travis Kelce is doing right now. And when you have players like Travis Kelce, who could change the market, like Travis Kelce could blow up the tight end market if he wanted to. And he was doing an interview with Fantasy Fair, and he said, quote, "When I saw Tyreek go and get $30 million a year, in the back of my head, I was like, man, that's 2 to 3 times what I'm making right now." But he added, "It looks fun to be a free agent and go somewhere, but I love winning. I love the situation I'm in. And I think you have that from the core players in Kansas City, where there's enough of a buy-in. Dudes are going to want to go get paid, and they deserve to get paid if they perform. But if you still have your number one option, and Travis Kelce at 33 years old is still the best tight end option in the NFL. If he has buy-in like that, even when your quarterback is getting a massive contract and massive payday, to your point, Ed, that is how they've been able to maintain this chemistry in Kansas City.
Yeah, you can do that with any team if you can get guys to take pay cuts. If you can get guys to take shaves, as they call them, shave some money off your contract. You want to give some money back to the organization. You want to give some money back to the corporation. Sure, you can win like that, but we know human instincts and self-preservation, and it's not meant for everyone to win a championship, but it is meant for everyone to have a championship bank account. And I don't fault guys who go out and this is their profession and get the most out of what they can get in the free market, because we are a free market enterprise in a country that's built on capitalism. And so I don't fault the Tyreek Hill for going to get $30 million. And, I think it's, kind of disingenuous to say, hey, because I make less money, I win more championships, because just because a guy makes more money doesn't necessarily mean he's not trying to help a team win a championship. People just have to structure their salaries in a way that gives people who deserve what they deserve to get what they get, and then you go from there. And if you don't believe that person fits into that structure, then you move that person. And that's what Kansas City did with Tyreek. And I'm sure they've, said to Kelce, hey, it would help us if you took a little less. And, that's his decision. He's decided to, hey, help the corporation, help the club. And he's determined that as a result of that, he's put them in a position to win championships. And we'll see.
Travis Kelce, the third highest paid tight end in football when you look at the average annual salary, $14 million. Nothing to sneeze at. $14 million, still a championship bank account for a lot of us. We understand, it's a different world when we're talking about NFL players. That ranks third behind George Kittle and Darren Waller. Darren Waller, former Raiders tight end, now in the Giants. He is the highest paid tight end in the NFL. So how do you dethrone Kansas City in the AFC West? You'll find yourself the 2021 Rams defense. It's going to be hard to do. When we come back on the other side, what are some of the issues facing all these contenders that we've been talking about? What are some of the hurdles that they're going to have to overcome? They believe they can be championship contenders in the NFL next season. You're like, what is going on? It's June 29th. It's a football overload because we absolutely can.
That's right.
Brought to you by Folds of Honor.
Join the Folds of Honor at their 8th annual Patriot Shootout, July 7th at Isleta Golf Course.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Some of the hurdles facing these teams that we're talking about, division winners, the favorites. Detroit Lions They're the most popular bet, one of the most popular off-season bets this year to win the NFC North. Lions are the favorites to win the division. The public is on them like crazy. The other team's favored to win their division: 49ers, Kansas City, Jacksonville, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, New Orleans, and Buffalo. No surprises at all. One of those teams isn't going to win the division.
Maybe a couple.
Maybe a couple. And when you look at what could be some of the hurdles in the way for these top teams, some of the things that they're going to have to overcome to get the job done. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. JJ Buck, DCR quarterback Ned James with you this morning. And one of the things I keep reading about, I'm looking down this list and they're like, all right, these are the issues with these good teams. It says the ceiling of Jared Goff. I'm trying to figure out what does that mean. The team scored the 5th most points in the NFL last season. They traded a playmaker on the outside, their best tight end, midway through the year to a division rival. Their wide receiving core outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown, who a lot of people learned about last year, they're not household names. DeAndre Swift in and out of the lineup. More and more, Mr. Ned James, I'm coming to your side. I'm buying Jared Goff. I'm buying the hype because what they did offensively last year was crazy. Now, I think the defense is going to be better. They invested a lot in the secondary in the off season, so that's going to be the difference to me for the Detroit Lions. Maybe the offense isn't as explosive because teams are going to look at that tape, start attacking you differently. But I think the Lions are going to be better because that defense is going to be a lot better. A defense that gave up the 4th most points per game last year. So I don't think Jared Goff is going to be the issue for the Lions. But you're looking down this list, the hurdles. They're talking about the age of the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, their window is right now, so I'm not worried about that roster because you're telling me about next season. Tua's health. That's a giant question mark. Mike McCarthy taking over in Dallas. When you look at some of these questions as you're looking ahead to next season, Ned, when you're looking at a team and they might have an issue or they might have something they need to deal with, like what do you look at and say, all right, you have to make sure that this is covered so you can overcome this?
I'm old school, JJ. You've been dragging me into the 21st century, kicking and screaming, but I'm a little old school, and so I start with the kicker. Do they have a kicker? Do we have a kicker? Because I go back to George Allen days, the old Washington Redskins, and special teams, the essential creator of what's considered the special team, modern day special teams, and I work my way from there to the defense. Then I go over to the offense. I want to know if you got a running game offensively. Then we can talk about your passing game. Now, with these teams that you mentioned, the quarterback, everybody's questioning whether the quarterback, is Jared Goff that kind of a quarterback that can get a team like a Detroit into the playoffs and win playoff games? Can Tua Tagovailoa get a team in a tough division into the playoffs, which he did last year, and win a game other than being injured, his injury history? Those are questions that the fans want to know because, of course, offense is how you sell tickets. But I always look and see how they've played special teams wise and how good their defense is. And then I go to the running game because I know when the winter months come, you're going to have a strong running game. And it's old school, it's traditional. I know everybody wants to see the great quarterbacks in the passing game, but that's how I work with the team. That's why Detroit, I'm a little leery. I like the quarterback. I like what they've done offensively, but I want to see the running game be as efficient as it was last season with the 2 running backs they had, and I want to see if they can improve on defense. The special teams, kicking game, I'll look at that a little bit later. I don't know quite what they are there, but until I see how well they can play on defense, I don't think Detroit will be a contender until they can get that issue solved.
What do you make of the Dallas Cowboys? They're a team that they should be set up to be nipping at the heels of Philadelphia and San Francisco. And when you look at those 2 rosters, it is insane that we still talk about San Francisco the way we do when we don't know who their starting quarterback is going to be. But Brock Purdy, they say he's going to be healthy enough to throw passes. Sam Darnold, does Trey Lance somehow win his way? But, the Dallas Cowboys, moving on from Kellen Moore, who offense, was that an issue for the Cowboys last year? Because you talk about the quarterback-coach connection. And this is Mike McCarthy saying, all right, this is my offense. This is my team. Kellen, appreciate you. Thanks a lot. This is a team that's won 12 games the last years. Now, they can just avoid playing San Francisco in the playoffs, and maybe they'll be able to take a step somewhere. What do you make of the Dallas Cowboys? Because I know, Ned, you want Dallas to win because you believe that Albuquerque is a better town when the Cowboys win.
I absolutely do. I believe Albuquerque's a New Mexico Lobo town. I believe it's a Dallas Cowboy town, second, right behind the Lobos. But the thing I like about Dallas is that Dallas has a good defense. Not a great defense, but a good defense. And probably, arguably, and debatably, the best player in the NFL playing on defense in Micah Parsons. Now, you take that, and like I've always said with Dallas, and that's why I liked him when everyone hated Garrett being the head coach, because there was a good relationship between him and the quarterback. Can McCarthy have that same kind of relationship with Dak Prescott? I do think he's an upgrade at coordinator over Kellen Moore, veteran. The reason why he's the head coach is because of his coordinating skills on the offensive side of the ball. And so I'm not worried about them not having the right play caller on the offensive side of the ball. Can their defense hold up? Special teams, can they have those things be strong? And Dallas will be a contender. They won 12 games last year. I mean, it's not easy winning games in the NFL. People think it's just easy. And I know people think that you just walk in and you win Super Bowls when you have a team that good. But, yeah, you got to have a little luck, too. But Dallas is a really good football team. And we're going to see if the defense plays as well as they played last year. And I believe the offense will. They're going to have to find a way to run the ball. I like Zeke, even though everybody didn't like Zeke getting paid. A little jealousy out there of him getting, the big contract at running back that he deserved. But they're going to have to step their running game up. People love Pollard, but it's like I've always said about these small scat back type guys, they get hurt a lot. And Pollard got hurt, like most, scat backs do. Ezekiel didn't get hurt. Now, he didn't have the production he had in the previous years, but he didn't get hurt. But they couldn't afford him. So we'll see how this running game ties up. I think they'll be okay on defense, and then I think they'll be a good team this season.
Well, a veteran running back on the market, Ezekiel Elliott, another veteran, apparently has some offers. And how impactful could these old guys be in a game where we don't want to pay these running backs, we want the young ones? Could it be a difference maker in a playoff race? It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Hurry into Mattress Firm's July 4th.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future and get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Shout out to Jaden Edwards, former Lobo women's soccer player. She made her professional debut last night with the OL Reign, formerly the Seattle Reign. She came on in the 76th minute against Portland, but Jaden Edwards, one of my favorite Lobos of all time, a tremendous player, and multiple game-winning goals to win championships for the Lobos, making her pro debut last night. Congratulations. That's awesome to see her get that opportunity. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Zen. Well, coming up at 9 a.m., we're going to talk with a five-time NFL Pro Bowler, a first-round draft pick of the San Diego Chargers, Anthony Miller, in our Football Overload Thursday. We're having a discussion about how the game is changing, how it's going out wide, how we're seeing these wide receivers make a difference. But we're talking to a dude that was well ahead of his time, a track star turned football player that posted 5 1,000-yard seasons. The dude had a 14 touchdown season with John Elway in Denver, and we're going to ask him what he sees in today's game and what he sees out of his former teams, the Chargers, Cowboys, and Broncos. JJ Buck DC, our quarterback, Ned James, with you this morning. And Ned, you were talking about the run game and the veteran running backs. And there is one veteran running back that everyone has had their eye on this off season, and that is former Minnesota Viking Dalvin Cook. And according to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, the Miami Dolphins have made a contract offer to Dalvin Cook. Other teams that have been interested in him in the New York Jets, Denver Broncos, and New England Patriots. And veteran running backs can still have an impact. You want to know why? Look at Leonard Fournette and what he did helping the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the last few years. Now, Leonard Fournette, I know the NFL is trying to get rid of these veteran running backs, but my goodness, you see that his car caught on fire the other day.
Yeah.
He posted that video on Instagram, and he said, man, it was just one of those days, but I'd like to thank God my car caught on fire while I was driving, but I am still blessed. Man, these veteran running backs having to avoid stuff left and right. But what do you think of Dalvin Cook? If he ends up in Miami, is that a piece? That offense is already explosive, and the Tua's on the field and healthy, hitting Waddle, hitting Hill. You know, he is making explosive plays downfield. But could Dalvin Cook be that impactful of a piece for a team like Miami?
Oh, of course he can. I mean, guy's a Pro Bowl running back. He's a talent that a lot of people are saying hasn't really reached his potential because of little knick-knack injuries along the way. But he's a dynamic, explosive guy. He's from, South Florida, so I think they think, they can get a hometown discount because he's from that area. But I'm sure there's other teams that are going to try and exceed that offer that they're making for Dalvin to come down to Miami. But I still think that, the running back out there, Ezekiel Elliott, I just like bigger running backs, guys who can withstand the winters that are coming in the NFL, because that's going to be tough when you're a smaller guy playing up in the Northeast. I know he played in Minnesota, but they're in domes most of the time, except for in Green Bay. But I'm just curious to see how where Ezekiel Elliott lands. But Dalvin Cook would be a great addition to that team that's looking to make a move, and their expectations are really high down there in South Florida with Miami, and they think that they can push for a championship there and get this team some wins in the playoffs.
Making moves indeed. When we come back on the other side, we're going to talk to a former NFL wide receiver, a 5-time Pro Bowler. Anthony Miller joins us on The Sports Animal. That's next here on 95.9 FM and AM 610.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your business or your
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us.
Into the pocket, he's going to run, throws on the run, got a guy open, caught! Miller, touchdown, San Diego! Anthony Miller in motion, they blitz, Humphreys under pressure, throws, caught at the 10, goal line, touchdown, San Diego!
Third quarter, John Elway to Anthony Miller. Miller says, I'm not satisfied with just a catch. Says goodbye to Ricky Reynolds, and then he is gone.
John Elway, able to step up all night, steps up in the pocket to Anthony Miller. They connect 33 yards in the score.
Harmon is back in now with Marion Butts. Everybody into the pattern. Humphreys looking long, throwing deep, got a man open at the 40. It's Miller to the 20, to the 10, touchdown, San Diego.
Well, our football overload continues here on the opening drive. JJ Buck, joined by our quarterback, Ned James. And our next guest, well, you heard plenty of highlights right there. He had 5 1,000-yard seasons in his 10-year NFL career. He's a first-round draft pick by the San Diego Chargers in 1988 out of the University of Tennessee. He also had stops with the Broncos, Cowboys, a 5-time Pro Bowler. This dude caught passes from Jim McMahon, John Elway, Troy Aikman, and in that 95 season, a franchise record 14 touchdown catches in Denver, since tied by the late Demaryius Thomas. But it might just have been that year at Pasadena City College that set it all in motion. Anthony Miller joining us on The Sports Animal this morning. Anthony, good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate you joining us. This is perfect. We've been having a lot of fun conversation this morning about, just the NFL, the direction of the game, the young stars being at the wide receiver position. And if you look at today's game, you were one of those players that was well ahead of his time, a track star that stepped on the football field. And you see what these guys are able to do today. Can you just imagine how many yards you'd have in today's NFL?
Oh, man, it's out at times it kind of remind me of running 7-on-7. You ain't got to worry about the DBs hitting you or anything like the big safeties that we had, when we were playing. So it's definitely, I think I would probably average 100 catches, at least 12 to 1,500 yards.
And as the player you were, do you like direction that the NFL is going in? Is this enjoyable for you? Because your experience in the league was when it was much different. But when you're watching today's game, do you like what you see, or do you miss some of those old school hits that you get?
Kind of miss some of the, old school, these guys, you have it, like you don't take the intimidation factor out of it. I mean, me playing now, yeah, I probably feel a lot better because I think you're more protected. But only thing that I think really is a joke really is the Pro Bowl. I just think, when they went to flag and they stopped hitting, it's like, man, it seemed like they just need to just vote guys in and just don't even have a game because it looks pretty bad compared to when we played.
And you mentioned, the Pro Bowler, and that's got to feel different because, to your point, there's a lot of dudes that become the 4th, 5th, 6th alternate that become a Pro Bowler. What did it mean to you in that time to be a Pro Bowl player?
Difference. I mean, you see guys that went to the Pro Bowl and really didn't really have a Pro Bowl season compared to like when we went, we were voted in by our peers and coaches and we played in the game. Now some of these guys don't even want to play in the game, and then you get this other guy, like all of a sudden he's a Pro Bowl receiver. It seems like now it doesn't really mean as much as it did back when we played.
Anthony Miller, former NFL wide receiver, joining us here on The Sports Animal.
Yeah, Anthony, talk to us a little bit about your transition when you got drafted from San Diego, then you went to the Denver Broncos, then you went to the Cowboys. Kind of walk the audience through exactly what happened and why you moved between those teams.
Well, when I first got drafted by the Chargers and was playing, I thought, I'd at least end up playing 10 years there. I end up, going through a couple of contracts there, and I played my 4-year contract out. And I end up my last year out of the 4 years, I went to 3 Pro Bowls. What ended up happening was they decided not to match the deal that Denver had gave me. The frustrating part was I was second in catches and second in yards that season. I thought that, I'll get another big deal, and I'll still be in San Diego. But San Diego, they did choose to not, match the deal. It was a lot of other stuff that was going into it because I felt, I wanted to stay there. I was established there, but it didn't work out. Ended up going to Denver. And one thing about what I can say about Denver, like their fans are really into the game. I mean, it's actually really fun. I had a lot of fun playing for them. And I guess I did something. I made a decision when I was upset when we lost to Jacksonville. I thought I should have been getting the ball a little more, and it didn't work out that way. I wasn't trying to be selfish, but, when you're used to being a number 1 receiver and catching a lot of balls, and it seemed like my catches went down. My yardage per catch went up, but it was just, I was used to being targeted more, and that didn't happen. But I made a decision when I was upset, that I regret because I ended up losing out on a couple of Super Bowls. But I was always happy for my, for my teammates and everything. And then I went to Dallas and had a great time in Dallas. We started off on fire. I think we were 4-1, and then at that point it just started going downhill. But the frustrating part at Dallas was I hurt my knee, and it was like a mini camp run through or whatever, and I just making a plan to hurt my knee. They end up scoping it. It was a medial meniscus tear, and when that happened, I got it right. I ended up missing, a lot of training camp, but I came in, and I think I shouldn't have they had me going just as hard as Michael was going. You know, we were taking all the plays, and we were in team. I think the last 4. I think we had like 4 plays left, and I tweaked my knee again, and it just wasn't the same. I ended up starting all 15 games, but I never knew that last game against the Giants was going to be my last time ever playing. I thought I'll have surgery again and be back on it. So I really wasn't really 100% that year when I played against when I was with the Cowboys.
Now, with Anthony Miller, former NFL wide receiver, a first-round draft pick, 5-time NFL Pro Bowler, and you had the opportunity, to catch passes from some fantastic quarterbacks, John Elway, Troy Aikman. We hear so much about John Elway, the power that he had on the football. I want to ask you first, what was it like catching passes from John Elway? But actually, in your career, anyone who threw the best football?
It's funny, when I went to the Pro Bowls, I seemed like I would get teased because I thought Warren Moon and Dan Marino, man, they threw some nice balls in, showed Jim Kelly. But, when it came down, like when I first started really going to Pro Bowls, Jim McMahon was such a teacher. He didn't have the strongest arm, but he would tell you where he's going to put it at, and he would tell me in certain times, hey, they're in cover 2 and you got the middle, I'm coming to you. So it just gave you that, okay, I got to beat my guy. Now playing with John is probably the best quarterback I played with out of all my quarterbacks. I mean, this guy, he knows how to make plays. I mean, he has a strong arm. I've seen some of the stuff that he did. I remember one time I was about 50 yards downfield, and he was patting it in practice, and he let it go, and I had to put it in another gear and catch it. And he came back. He said, when I came back to him, he's like, you thought I wasn't going to get it there? I said, no, I didn't really, yeah. And then one time he was scrambling, and I was like down the field, like it was like at least an 8-second to 10-second play, and I didn't see him. And then I'm like, is he sacked? And I ran across the field. I'm about 50 yards. He throws a dart to me, and I catch it. And he's like, man, the play is not over until it's over. But those were some of the tricks and stuff that you had with John. John can make some plays. Playing with Troy is very accurate, throws a nice ball, but he's really a timing quarterback, and he's going to get the ball where you're supposed to be. So all you have to really do is beat your guy. But, having a chance to play with all those quarterbacks, I mean, I felt I was really blessed. Played 10 years with some great quarterbacks.
And you mentioned those 4 quarterbacks. You mentioned John Elway. You mentioned Troy Aikman. You had Stan Humphries, Jim McMahon, and you also had a player named Ned James. I want you to rank those 5 quarterbacks. Ned James, I know, is probably in the top 3, but rank those 5 quarterbacks as you saw as far as talent-wise that you played with. And you're laughing, and I'm not understanding why you're laughing.
I'm going to tell you what.
The people in New Mexico want to know. The people in New Mexico are listening now.
You are the last one that did get me started, okay? I got to give you that, okay?
Okay.
It was funny. Ned didn't know anything about me, and the coach, one of the coaches kept telling him, hey, man, this guy we need. This guy, I'm telling you, we need him. And, I mean, these guys, I was in junior college. I had stopped and I was working, and they were trying to get me back in. Coach Coldiner was telling me, Coach Coldiner seen a lot of stuff in me that I didn't see. So I owe a lot to him. He's not with us now, God bless him. But Ned would come up. I said, who is this guy, this little country black guy coming up to me, always talking about, come and play, need me to play. But no, not really. He was really he's still a good friend of mine. We still talk to this day. But when it comes to those 5 quarterbacks, it starts off with John, Troy, and then McMahon, and then Humphries, and then Ned. But to tell you the real thing, though, Ned's my boy. Out of all of them, he got me started, and I'm going to give him some credit.
couple more minutes.
But he's not in that same seat with those guys. I got to tell you.
Not quite, maybe just not quite there to their.
You're never going to be on this show again. I hope you know that.
I'll be back on the show. You're my boy. You don't take care of me.
Yes, I am. You're right. You're right. You're right about that.
Just a couple more minutes. We got Anthony Miller with us here on The Sports Animal, former NFL Pro Bowl wide receiver, first round pick. Anthony, you mentioned getting started, and you were a track guy. You were a speedster. Tell me about the high school football coach that finally got you on the football field to play as a senior in high school.
You know, it's funny because everybody says track star. I played basketball through high school. I was a point guard. I didn't run track until my senior year. I decided my senior year, because at first I was just going to work because my mom got us started working at 14. So that was like the first priority before anything, school work. So I decided my senior year that I wanted to go to college. At first I didn't, so I wanted to get the best scholarship I could. So I played football. I had that was my first year playing since Pop Warner. So I had low offers. I wasn't even the main guy. I was a starter, but the other guy was Chris. He was the main guy, Chris Deacon. And then I ended up playing basketball, had lower scholarships, and then I ended up running track, and I did really well. And I ended up getting a track scholarship to San Diego State. So what ended up happening, and the track coach at San Diego State, he did me a favor because he didn't want me to play football. And I really wanted to play football. That was just a stepping stone to get to the college, and then I was going to walk on. And San Diego State at that time had a really, they had a good, Todd Santos, a good quarterback, very good, broke a lot of records. And they were a passing team. So I was like, yeah, I would like to walk on. So he said, no, you can't run track. You can't play football. You're on a track scholarship. I was like, okay, good. I'm going to just go home. I go home every weekend, so you're doing me a favor. So I went home and decided to, run track and play football, and I ended up going to PCC and doing that. I ended up being state champion 100 and 200 in California and track, and ended up being All-American in football, and that's where I got the scholarship to go to Tennessee. So it was I had a different stepping stone when I got to the pros.
Well, it's a good thing. There's too many Aztecs around here anyway at San Diego State, bumping around out here in Lobo country in the Mountain West. I think one of the things I did want to ask you, because you mentioned making a decision in your career when you were upset, and we're seeing a team in Buffalo that has championship aspirations, the quarterback and their wide receiver bumping heads a little bit, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. What would you say to Stephon Diggs? You have the opportunity to talk to him about this situation and what's going on.
With me, I would kind of one thing, when you have a quarterback, you got to be on the same page, and you got to be just like boys, really. I would think he had to, pull Josh aside and say, hey, man, take him to dinner or something, and kind of work it out, because he's in a great situation. He's probably the top 5 receiver in the league, if not, higher. And, the last thing you want to do is make a dumb decision when you're upset, like I did. You got to kind of sit back and relax and think about, your situation and go and work it out. I wish I would have got a chance to do that. I think I'd be sitting with 2 rings. But you kind of learn from your mistakes, and hopefully he can iron that out with Josh.
Anthony, we so appreciate the time. I'm thankful that I was able to talk with you. I love that Ned brought you on this show. I'm sure we'll be talking football in the future, man, but appreciate the time. Great stories. Yeah. And thank you for hanging out with us, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Ned, for bringing me on. I appreciate everything you guys have done for me as far as Ned, and thanks a lot for having me.
Appreciate you, Anthony Miller. Great stuff right there, joining us on The Sports Animal. A ton to break down from that and get into. And we'll come back on the other side. We'll make Ned feel better about being the last quarterback on that list. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We're at the end, too, on Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. Don't make decisions when you're upset. Because if you're Anthony Miller, he mentioned it. He left the Denver Broncos right before they won back-to-back Super Bowl championships. Yeah. And he kind of has that what if in the back of his mind. And what if I didn't make that decision. And then we saw what John Elway, Terrell Davis, that offense, and the emergence of Rod Smith were able to do. But I appreciate that insight. And it is when you look at that Buffalo situation and say, you got to figure this out. Stephon Diggs, you are in a great situation. You are the number one target for Josh Allen. You can't let potentially one drive and a bad playoff performance change your future, because that is a team that has championship ability in the AFC. JJ Buck DC, our quarterback, and Ned James with you here on The Sports Animal. That was awesome stuff, Ned. So appreciate you setting that up for us. And now we'll have to talk. Are you okay? Are you okay being behind John Elway, Troy Aikman, and Jim McMahon right now?
I just don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. I'm going to have to rethink that friendship. And also, I'm rethinking my list of receivers that I thought were the best. And I'm going to put Terrence Mathis ahead of him now, and the two receivers that started at Pasadena City College over him before he eventually moved in to play. I'm rethinking my list of receivers as well, since I found myself behind some Hall of Famers at quarterback when I thought I should have at least gotten to at least 3, possibly 2, as far as his quarterbacks go.
Jim McMahon jump you there.
Yes. I was a little disappointed with the weak arm of Jim McMahon jumping me, leapfrogging me, and the fact that he was comfortable with saying, okay, Ned, I'm comfortable with you being the 5th one out of these 5.
but it highlights, you know, the journey of athletes. Like, you guys started at Pasadena City College, and
yes,
what you were able to do from there. And he goes to Tennessee. You are able to come to New Mexico and have a playing career that bolts you to an NFL coaching career. You know, he becomes a first-round draft pick, and you'd never expect that. You know, just kids from Pasadena City College, and here you are able to look back on NFL resumes.
Yeah, and you know, the friendships that you make, and you know, the 40 years or however many years, 30 years you've been friends. You know, those things are priceless, and it's a testament of what, you know, teamwork and being a part of a team can do for you. You know, you learn how to get along with people who, you know, come from different backgrounds or different areas. You learn how to, you know, encourage and help your fellow man. You know, like he said, he was working. His mom, you know, made sure that they went to work, and he loved working. I always remembered that about Anthony. He loved having that job at the grocery store. He was looking for a promotion and working his way up, and decided to take the route to come to college. And you know, because we had to go to school back then, you know, we had to make sure we made our grades, and you know,
you actually had to be a student athlete.
Yes, you knew there was you know, you had this vision of one day possibly playing in the NFL and moving on to a Division I school and a power, and we all had those dreams, you know, and so it was just great to see it realized, and then being able to be around him and, you know, coaching in the NFL and Anthony playing, and then, you know, the success that he had, and how hard he worked, and what he had to endure to go and like, that's why you bring in players like Anthony to speak to your players, your team, because a lot of these kids are going through some of the struggles that, you know, you're seeing with the Stephon Diggs and others. We have young players at the University of New Mexico, and that's why, you know, I remember Bob bringing in former pro athletes to talk to the young men, to let them know, hey, look, you know, everybody, you know, you're going to have struggles, but to overcome those struggles, there will be a reward at the end. And I think that's what Anthony kind of clearly spoke to when we talked to him today.
And it was, you know, DC did a great job putting that highlight package together that we played.
Shout out to DC. Yes, that was good.
But DC, you were telling me that when you were watching this stuff, like, even you were like, wait a second, like, this dude was something different.
He was so fast. It was insane. Like, you saw that player, and I could very easily see him thriving in the current NFL. It was insane.
Yeah. And
one of the things was the NFL's fastest man. People don't remember Anthony came in second place. He lost to Darrell Green, who was considered the fastest man in the NFL of all time. And with when they used to have the races, they used to actually have a race called the NFL's fastest man, and Anthony competed in that and came in second to Darrell Green of the Washington Redskins.
505-246-0610. That is the 377 Brewery hotline and the Sports Animal text line this morning. We have a quarterback question for Ned James. Looking ahead, how do you feel about some of the quarterbacks that we're going to see next season. We'll tell you what that is coming up next here on The Sports Animal.
Open for the Lobo Cancer Challenge. Cancer can affect.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
20 days from right now, be sitting in Las Vegas, Nevada. Coaches from around the Mountain West Conference, a couple players, and everyone's going to be feeling good. The offseason has been fantastic. No one has had a bad offseason. That's the beauty of media days. You go in, everyone's feeling good. Someone's going to finish last, someone's going to finish first. But at least you have a couple days, there's hope. You feel good. You feel like you can take a step forward. For the New Mexico Lobos, one of the biggest questions they have to answer is, have they found someone to be a consistent presence at the starting quarterback position? The opening drive here on The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, our quarterback, Ned James, DC with you this morning on The Sports Animal text line, which is 505-246-0610. Question: what is Ned's assessment of the Lobo quarterback situation heading into this season? Or Dylan Hopkins, transfer from UAB, coming over with his offensive coordinator, DC Tapscott, the D1 transfers with some experience. And then, of course, you got Justin Holiday, Devin Dampier, other options. Ned James, our quarterback. How do you feel about the quarterback position right now at UNM?
Well, it looks good so far on paper. I mean, it looks good. You know, they've practiced. They haven't gone against any strangers. They haven't gone against people they don't know. You know, they're practicing against these guys every day. They, you know, you kind of get to know guys as you practice against them. And you know, the quarterback Hopkins comes in with a great resume. He's won at his previous Division I school. He's won a bowl game at his previous school, and his offensive coordinator has come with them, and he's got a great resume as well. He's done a fantastic job, but now, you know, you've got to do it at a different place. You got to do it with different players. They had a running back that got drafted into the NFL on that team. They ran the ball a bunch at UAB. So it's one of those things where we're going to see if it translates from that conference to the Mountain West Conference. And we're going to see. I mean, the talent. They've got some new players. They got new pieces in. But the quarterback position, I like the new freshman. I know they have DC Tapscott behind Dylan right now, but they've got a freshman kid that really is a good little passer. He's small, he's short in stature, but boy, does he play big. And we're going to see. Everybody's going to get a chance to see him. I think a lot of people should come out and watch a little bit of this off-season training camp once camp starts. Fall camp starts here this summer. Be good to come out and check out these quarterbacks and just see what you think of these quarterbacks. I think they're talented, but we'll have to wait and see.
And it's been timing. Timing has been an issue for this Lobo football team, and we know everything that they've gone through with their first year with Danny Gonzalez. Well, they spent it in Las Vegas, Nevada, because they couldn't play a home football game. And as they've been trying to rebuild this roster, they've had a quarterback. Terry Wilson was a good quarterback. Terry Wilson checked all the boxes. But when they had Terry Wilson, they had zero offensive line. Their starting left tackle was a turnstile. It wasn't actually blocking anyone. It was just letting the defender after defender hit the quarterback. And then you think that, all right, you brought in some pieces for the offensive line, and then you go to last year, and it was injury after injury at the quarterback position. So it's not just an inability to find that quarterback. Like, this offense hasn't had a moment yet where they've been average, like an average offensive line, average quarterback with some weapons on the outside. Do you think that this year, with what they've done the last 2 years, focusing on the offensive line, bringing in a veteran D1 quarterback and hitting the transfer portal with wide receivers, could we see at least a consistent offense from New Mexico?
Yeah, we're going to get consistent offense. I do like what the new offensive coordinator has brought with his scheme. I do like that. Will it work? Do you have the horses? Do you have the type of players to make it successful? We will see. I do think the scheme is sound and it's efficient. But guys have to make plays. Players have to make plays. And when you're playing against a stranger, when you're playing against a different color jersey, we're going to see if this team can be the cohesive team that it needs to be in order to be successful. I believe they may be a little short at running back because, I really liked Nate Jones last year. I don't see anybody out there at the running back position that wows me. And I know this new defensive coordinator, Vincent, wants to run the football. So it's going to be imperative that they're able to run the ball successfully. I believe they think they can. I believe they think, it's easy to pick on the offensive linemen, but I do think this is one of their better offensive lines that they've had since we've been here, Jay, since I've been doing football here. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens within the conference. They have a tough opener at A&M. Then they come back home for 2 games that they should get. Those kids down south, our little brothers to the south, are going to come in here that 3rd week, and we're going to we're going to see what kind of team this is because they're going to definitely be coming for us that 3rd game.
Yeah, Jared Kill and the team, the Aggies got the bowl game last year. You look at the Mountain West too. This is a season where there is opportunity in the Mountain West Conference, there's turnover. There's changes, especially at the quarterback position. And we've seen some really good quarterbacks in this league over the last few years lead some solid programs. But if you look at the quarterback position, my favorite dude, Chevin Cordero, he's still at San Jose State. He's probably the best guy returning. But you look at the teams that, Fresno State, Jay Kaner just got drafted. Like, he's in the NFL now, and they're the defending conference champs. So they have turnover at that position. I think Boise State's going to be in a good position. Taylon Green took over. He's one of those, dynamic athletes at the quarterback position. But there's a lot of question marks. Utah State, Cooper Legis, Levi Williams. There, Colorado State, Clay Millen is the name to watch. People love the upside of Clay Millen at Colorado State. He was hit a ton last year. But, of course, Jay Norvell, in his second year with the Rams. Doug Brumfeld is a guy at UNLV. When he's on the field, he can be a difference maker. But that's also something, too, in the Mountain West. If you hit kind of early in the season, if you find that consistency at the quarterback position, that could give you a huge bump because there's just a lot of turnover at that position this year across the conference.
Yeah, but show me the running game. I mean, I know everybody loves these quarterbacks and the passing stats and that sort of thing, but show me the running back. Show me the running game. Show me the efficiency in the passing game. Those are things that I'm looking for, particularly with our team, particularly with UNM and the pedigree that the two new pieces that are coming in have, the quarterback and the offensive coordinator, Ryan Vincent. Show me the efficiency. Show me that running game. If you can show me those things, I think this can be a successful team. Now, also, we don't have the Pac-12 killer on defense. I mean, Rocky Long, I know we're running the same system, but we don't have that guy here. And I know people want to say, hey, look, it's the same system. We should be okay there. But, I want to see that same intensity that Rocky brought to that defense. I haven't seen that yet. I need to see that. It's going to be a little bit different. It's not the same guy. So we're going to see. I mean, I think the coordinators on both sides of the ball are very good, very talented here at UNM. But it's yet to be determined, and it's a tough first game, but those next two games after that are going to be telling.
505-246-0610. That is the 377 Brewery hotline. Also, the Sports Animal text line changes at the top. And is that going to be enough for this team to compete? We'll tell you about that next on the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say, people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
A lot of Alka-Seltzer and Pepto-Bismol being consumed this morning along with your coffee. Is there anything better than 50-cent hot dog night at the baseball stadium, Ned?
Nothing better. Nothing. I tell you, I went there last year and ate way too many 50-cent hot dogs. But there's nothing better.
We got 12:05 baseball. It's the youth day out there for the summer programs. They like to call it the business person special. But Josh Shushan is going to take over this morning at 11:45. Topes and El Paso as they continue their series. What a weekend it is! 4th of July next week. Got the Topes in town. They're giving away that low rider bobblehead. They got beach towels. They got fireworks Sunday and Monday. America, what we do.
America.
Baseball and hot dogs. And how about a perfect game last night? As well at Major League Baseball. It can still wow you. Baseball can still wow you because no other sport has a perfect game. And there's still something special about that. And how about back-to-back days Major League Baseball with headlines? Good on you. Shohei Ohtani. Just rename the American League MVP trophy right now the Ohtani Trophy because that dude is unbelievable. And then, like, how you can go from the last two starts. Domingo Germán gave up 15 earned runs. He pitched 2 innings and 3 innings. And then he goes out there and throws a perfect game. And you can have your jokes. I get it. Maybe it was against a AAA baseball team, the Oakland Athletics, if that, right now. That's still special, especially when the 24th person to ever do that in Major League Baseball. And he did it in the Yankees uniform, man. And that is going to matter and catch people's attention. JJ Buck, Ned James, DC with you here on The Sports Animal. Sean Payton. Is he going to fix Russell Wilson? Well, no one knows. But people are on board. You got Peyton Manning saying that he believes that Sean Payton is going to get the rest of the juice out of Russell Wilson. You got Joe Lombardi coming over to work with Sean Payton. How do you see this coach-quarterback relationship working out, especially with all the noise last year that kind of Russell Wilson was a little too diva. We can use the word diva, right? For Russell Wilson last year, maybe got a little over his skis. The Sean Payton, Russell Wilson relationship, Mr. Ned James, what do you think?
I think it'll be great. Sean came in, established very early who's in control. He is the leader of this team as the head coach. No personal office spaces for quarterbacks. If the right guard can't have a personal office, then the quarterback shouldn't have a personal office. You got to treat all of them the same, even though people say they're not all the same. You have to treat them all the same. And Sean has done a good job, in my opinion, of establishing that early on. We know his pedigree as an offensive coordinator. His relationship with the quarterback is going to be critical. It's going to be important if this team is to come out of that division. It's a tough division. But they can do it. They can do it. And the NFL is a strange animal. Like nobody's going to know, Sean Payton. They remember Sean from New Orleans, and they're probably looking at a lot of New Orleans and Drew Brees tape to kind of figure out this offense. But not until they go up against them are they going to realize that this is a quality coach, head coach, and offensive coordinator. So it should help Russell. I don't think it's going to hurt him. I think, they're all excited in Denver to have Sean Payton there, and I'm looking forward to it.
Jerry Jeudy, who is trying to bounce back himself, explode on the scene. He said, quote, "We haven't been all on this field in how long? Since my rookie year." He's talking about the wide receiver core for the Denver Broncos. So it's been a tough year, but having everybody on the field at the same time, it's going to be big because I know what we're capable of, and they know what we're capable of. And that's going to be the thing, is because when healthy, Broncos have enough options. When you have Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and Tim Patrick on the outside, that's enough for Russell Wilson, especially the style of play. If you look at kind of Drew Brees late in his career, it doesn't feel like Russell Wilson should be at this point. I mean, he's 34 years old, but it is. And Russell Wilson, do you feel that Sean Payton's going to kind of go back to the Seahawks days where it's a lot of Russell Wilson under center, bootleg? Of course, they're running that football to get Javonte Williams back healthy. Samaje Perine, they talked about him a lot this season, signed him from Cincinnati. What do you think? What style do you think we're going to see from the Broncos?
Yeah, I think we'll see a little bit of it. I don't think Payton is as concerned with the style of play, but what he's most comfortable with and what he can get his quarterback to be most comfortable with. If that's where he had the most success, he'll take a look at it. But Sean Payton is the offensive coordinator. He probably doesn't run the same system that they ran in Seattle, but they're trying to get the same results. They're trying to get to a Super Bowl. They have a veteran quarterback who can handle a lot. They know and understand that he handles the game a certain way, and they're gonna work to those strengths. And I think they'll be successful. I think when you have veteran coaches and veteran players, it tends to work. So we'll see what happens.
505-246-0610, 377 Brewer Hotline, Sports Animal text line this morning. One of the things too, when looking at the NFL next season, and the Broncos in that division trying to dethrone Kansas City, have won 7 straight division titles. When you're looking at the AFC right now, it's almost the way to start is like, who is not a playoff team? That's how deep the AFC is right now.
Right.
And
yes,
who's not a playoff team for sure? Do you think the Raiders are that bad? Because I'm not even gonna totally dismiss the AFC South teams, because I think Jacksonville, rightfully so, is the favorite in that division with Trevor Lawrence. But you're telling me Anthony Richardson couldn't catch lightning in a bottle? CJ Stroud in Houston, Tennessee, they're going to be competitive with Ryan Tannehill. How deep do you really think right now the AFC is, Ned?
I think the AFC is extremely deep, but it's like any season coming into a new season. Everybody is expecting to go to the Super Bowl. When you're the pros and everybody is making the kind of money these players are making, they're not giving millions of dollars to guys who can't play. They're not giving millions of dollars to coaches who can't coach. So it's going to be everybody believes that they have a chance to make a run at the playoffs, and so that's why everybody loves the NFL because of the salary cap and the way things are structured. Everybody initially, and you don't know where the injury is going to come from, believe they have an opportunity. But the AFC, because of their record last season, they do seem like they're more stacked with quality teams. And moving forward, we just don't know until we get to the season.
Well, a big part of the season might be to who is not going to get suspended for gambling on football games, because here we go again, a handful of NFL players. The name we've heard a lot is Isaiah Rodgers, the Indianapolis Colts cornerback. He is one of a few players that's expected to receive a season-long suspension this week for violating the NFL's policy on gambling. And I know this is one of those things, Ned, that you just shake your head every time you hear it.
I had a friend apologize to me last night for something 25 years ago because I explained to him that this is what happens on the regular. Guys will call their buddies and say, "Hey, what do you think?" that are in the NFL. "What do you think about this?" And his buddy probably threw $50 on it. Here's a guy who's getting ready to lose millions of dollars over a $50 bet. Guys would call me. I had a friend tell me last night. He says, "Ned, I remember you telling me to flip a coin," because he was asking me, "Hey, do you think I should bet on this team or that team?" Which is a violation. I knew it at the time. Like, why is my friends calling me when they know I work here and I could be fired? To ask me because they're in Vegas and they've been drinking, who they should bet on at the casino, as far as teams go. And he said, "Yeah, I remember you telling me, 25 years ago, hey, just flip a coin, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which team you pick because you never know who's going to win until the game starts." And so it's just one of those things that it's unfortunate because of, the fact that people are making money off of this, and the gambling industry has to protect itself, and the league has to protect itself. These penalties are gonna be strict, and they should be.
And this is one where I don't think there's hypocrisy in this. And the NFL, they're in bed with all these gambling companies, and they're putting it out there. They should let the players bet. No, you can draw that line because that money is coming in, and what does that money do? Revenue eventually gets filtered back out to the players. There's a brand new head of the Players Association, right? That's coming in, so they're gonna look at the future of contracts and how revenue is distributed. It's pretty simple, man. Yeah, you can embrace betting, you can be about it, you can look at the lines, you can have your fantasy football teams, but your players can't do it because that's how you earn your money. If the public perceived there to be a problem with all the money that they're throwing down on daily fantasy football, that they're throwing down at the casinos, then that revenue stream would go away. Pretty simple.
Yeah. The temptation to, want to make somebody some money, or you owe somebody, or somebody feels indebted to someone, is something we have to be careful about.
Was 1 year enough, do you think, Ned, for Isaiah Rodgers?
I think it's going to be something that we're going to have to pay attention to. We're going to have to look and see, because it's going to be, a situation where they're going to, down the road, we're going to start seeing more and more of these incidents.
Yeah, and they have to police it. It's for the sake of the game. It's for the money, and people enjoy it. The fantasy sports, the gambling, it's there. You can still have that. You can make money as the league, and your players can't do it. They can bet on other things. If you really have to scratch that itch, you can become an NBA gambling expert. You can be a WNBA gambling expert. You can figure out how to do over-unders at Major League Baseball. So the opportunity is out there, but it's pretty simple. Don't bet. But there's a line you cannot cross, and it's everywhere. And Ned James back today was telling you not to do it, and he's telling you today to not do it once again. I want to thank Anthony Miller, the Pro Bowl wide receiver that joined us this morning, good friend of Ned James. I'm going to let Ned and Anthony talk it out, their quarterback rankings in the future. But Ned, I always appreciate the time, man. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you guys, man. Great show. Appreciate it. Enjoy the day, fellas.
Quarterback Ned James. We got the Jim Rome Show coming up next. Day baseball. Josh Shushan and the Topes take over at 11:45, and that'll take you into 2 Men On this afternoon. We're back with you tomorrow for more award-winning radio. DC, Adrian, much appreciated. Everybody, Meta World, peace and love. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?